They and other Zodiac acts like Klaus Schulze were among the first to utilize the newly invented synthesizer.
When I started to do my electronic music, the first question of all journalists were, what is a synthesizer? Can you imagine today nobody would even care, they just see hundreds of them. But at this time, what is a synthesizer? Then you try to explain it, you know. And it was so brand new that we thought, oh, that's great, let's try something with it. And that was then the point that we actually, like kids, you know, we were turning knobs without knowing what comes out on the other end, but at least it sounds great. And as far as they are all connected to each other, every knob you move, something is happening, you know, it's so... But don't ask me, I have this now more than 30 years. I could never create tomorrow exactly the same sound.
Munich and Berlin weren't the only centres of experimentation. The real heart of the European electronic tradition was to be found in Cologne, where leading avant-garde composer Karl-Heinz Stockhausen was based.
Cologne was, in the beginning of the 60s, the center of modern music worldwide, you can say. And Stockhausen was one of the composers who was here. And he gave some lectures, and I said to him, I said, Mr. Stockhausen, I can do anything. All examinations I failed. And he said, what do you want to become? I said, composer, of course. And then he looked at me. Your story sounds good. I take you. I heard from an undertaker that in the basement he was doing a side business with thrown out studio equipment from the radio station. And so I entered his shop. The coffins were there. Come with me to my catacombs, he said. And I found sine wave generators Stockhausen had used for the first time. And these filters, I remember them so well, how he was working with it. Stockhausen had married a rich woman, and I thought I'd do exactly the same, and was succeeding, actually. I was going to Switzerland to become teacher, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. And suddenly I was engaged, but instead of taking too much care for the rich girls, there was a guitar player. He wanted to have some lessons from me, and I could see how talented he was. So he finished the school, and we together founded CAN. As I said, better a small bird in the hand than a pigeon on the roof.
5 brilliant individuals can combine the influences of the European avant-garde, jazz and minimalism.
CAN was founded in 1968. That was the year of the kind of student revolutions in Germany. A mental revolution happened at that time. The war was definitely finished, and the old way of thinking had to be destroyed. We did not try to play rock and roll because we knew it's not the thing we are born with, and we have to find our own way.
Key to Can's driving sound was the drumming of Jackie Liebertzeit, who had been Germany's top jazz drummer, until he had an epiphany.
A guy came to me and said, you must play monotonous. So, he said it with the voice and with the expression, so I was quite impressed. So, I don't know, it was a kind of freak. Maybe he had taken a LSD trip or something. He was completely, I don't know, strange. And I started thinking about it. To play monotonous. What did he mean, monotonous? So I started to repeat things.
We played live in Munich, had a concert there, which was a sold-out concert. And I was sitting in the afternoon with Jackie Liebertzeit, with the drummer, in a cafe. And suddenly I saw someone coming up the street, in the middle of the street, and were praying to God and getting down to the street and behaving very strange. And I said to Jackie, we have our new singer.
Damo Suzuki and Nomad in the 21st century. Traveler, hippie but not really hippie, metaphysical transporter, human being.
I went to Damo and said, "What are you doing tonight?" He said, "Oh, nothing, I don't have anything to do." Like, "Do you want to become singer in a concert?" Sold out. Yes, and where do we make a rehearsal? I said, "No rehearsal. No, you go on stage and then you sing. Don't worry." Damo was first like a samurai, but a very peaceful one. But suddenly, out of nothing, he broke out in an eruption like a volcano. And the people got so aggressive. Let's say about 30 people were left. Among them was David Niven. And I asked him, "Mr. Niven, what do you think about this music?" He said, "It was great, but I didn't know it was music."
Actually, I don't have so much memories because that time I was quite stoned. And that's it.
"30 kilometers north of Cologne on the Autobahn lies Düsseldorf, the Liverpool to Cologne's Manchester. Düsseldorf would give the world Germany's greatest act, but in 1970 you might not have recognized them. This is Kraftwerk's first televised performance. It features Florian Schneider and Ralf Hütter, two classical music students who formed the creative nucleus of the band. Kraftwerk then were a Krautrock band who also experimented with electronics and shared the same vision of German music as their peers.
Ja, für uns war das mehr ein Problem, überhaupt Musik machen zu können in einer Bundesrepublik oder so nach dem Krieg, wo die lebendige Musik, Alltagsmusik verschwunden war, die war ausgelöscht. Und unsere Generation, wir mussten halt wieder von vorne starten.
Ralf and Florian would employ what they would later call Musikarbeiter, music workers.
At that time I was 20 and I was working in a psychiatrist hospital, and there was another guy working the same job, and he was invited to join a band called Krautrock.